Bye. Your monster truck's on the seat. Now, as it turned out that we didn't do any driving while we were here, the car should still be on around 70%, hopefully. Thing is, we're going back to my parents before we go back to our house later. I was gonna stop at the supercharger that is about 18 miles further up the road from here. I woke up at 5:30 in order to make sure my video was all edited up because I knew I'd be in the car quite a bit today, which is another way of saying I am probably in need of a stop. Yeah, so I think what we'll do is have a kind of 11s type thing and stick it on the Chademo. We only need to be there about 20 minutes just to make up the difference on my parents' slow charger. And before anyone says, no, it is not worth us spending hundreds of pounds swapping their charger out. 99.9% of the time it has no impact whatsoever, including this time, because I really do think that I need to stop and get myself a coffee. Yeah, so I was going to talk about planning, because I mean there isn't a huge amount of planning one has to do, but you can make your life easier. You know, I did not want to plug in back at my friend's house. If I'd done that, it would have, you know, meant that we probably wouldn't need to stop at all from the car's point of view, but I need to stop anyway. And even if we did, I know from past experience that by the time you finish faffing around with cables and extension leads and windows and talking to people about it, you burnt 20 minutes anyway. And that's all it takes, stopping at a service station to make up the difference, on this journey at least. So because the range of the car is so high, the planning tends to be more from a sort of comfort and convenience point of view, you know, fitting the charging into your life rather than having to fit your life into the charging. You know, you just learn what's going to work best for you. So in that respect, planning doesn't have to be a barrier for somebody who's never driven an EV before. Even if somebody had no experience, they would be able to do this journey relatively easily. It would just be a case of going, oh, I'm running a bit low on range, I'll stop off and plug up. Or I'm running a bit low on range, we've got to my friend's house, I'll plug in. Or alternatively, what they could do is just run the battery down below 30%, which I tend not to do. Jasper? Coffee. So desperate. Do you need a coffee?
No.
You know, when we get to my parents, I might try and have a 5-minute catch-up sleep. Oh, yeah. Just got one more stop that I want to do before we get back. I wonder if anyone can guess what I'm here to get. I'm gonna leave Jazzy in the car because I'm just literally, I know what I want, I'm just gonna pick it up and run. We're gonna cover this off tomorrow, I think. And we're here. Oh, unconsciousness and coffee beckons. Okay. Okie dokie. Should be reasonably charged by the time we leave. Our little sort of 20-minute stop was exactly what we needed, and I tell you what, it was exactly what I needed. Hello? You're looking all trimmed down? Yeah? Oh, she's all soft as well, Jasper. This is a good example of why I always like to leave that 30% buffer in there. I didn't know I was taking my dad to the station. Brilliant.
Take it easy.
Bye.
Bye-bye, Jane. Thanks for the lift.
My pleasure. Not only has it cost me 10 miles to get here, 10 miles to get back, but of course I'm going to miss out on about 10 miles worth of charging. So that's not going to be any kind of problem at all. Who says electric cars can't be flexible? They do just require a tiny bit of experience. But then hey, I mean, I suppose that's the same with petrol, isn't it? Now I actually have enough miles in the car to get home as it is, but only with about 20 miles to spare. Which is not an awful lot. You know, if Soph rang me up and said, oh, I need you to come here, or I've had a flat or whatever, then I'd be stuck. Handily enough, my parents have electricity. And now is my time for a snooze. Yeah, night. Oh. I am awake. Just about.
Come on.
I like waking up to food. Thank you. In you get, Jazzy! Having now done probably, well, over 100,000 miles, the first third of it in the Nissan Leaf, and then the next 2/3 in a Tesla with a more than adequate range. The Nissan Leaf, if I'm being honest, didn't really have the range that is necessary. But in the Tesla, what I've realised actually is that with a bit of experience, which enables you to just know when you should get some energy and when you shouldn't, and when the sort of easiest way to do that is going to be, I don't feel like this car is any kind of a limitation on where I can go, or for that matter really how quickly I can get there. I mean, I know there are people who want to drive 500 miles without stopping. If you look at the comments on various, you know, Tesla related videos and websites, it's clear that some people want to do that, but the vast majority of people don't want to drive 500 miles without stopping. The vast majority of people can't. I couldn't. I would have to stop and go to the loo and then have food and stretch my legs. Otherwise it would just be, you know, some kind of cruel and unusual punishment. And to be honest, I do think that, you know, Tesla has really moved that conversation away from, you know, can an electric car with a decent range be a real car, and onto more a question of price. I think, looking at my driving patterns and the kind of distances I tend to do within a day, that if I had a Renault Zoe that charged at 40 kilowatts, and it had the bigger battery, so it could do, you know, 150, 160 miles in summer and 120, 130 in winter, then if I leased that battery, let's not play with other cars, get a speeding ticket. You know, the thing about the Renault Zoe, I think you've basically got a car that is just as usable and easy to function as a full vehicle as the Tesla that I'm in at the moment, because I very rarely go over 150 miles in one leg. In fairness, it does happen sometimes, but, you know, 2-3 times in a year, and I could easily just stop and, you know, do a 5-minute, 10-minute quick charge, and then it wouldn't be a problem. So that's how I sort of arrive at that idea that 150 miles is enough, because for me it would be enough. Now that won't fit everybody, but I think actually it will fit a lot of people. And the Renault Zoe is very reasonably priced, which is the reason why, you know, between those two things, if I wasn't going to drive a Tesla at the moment, I would very definitely head down to the Renault dealership. Well, Jasper is asleep, which is fantastic, and his mummy got home just in time to read him a story. So that was nice, because, you know, they'd missed each other for the last few days. One last thing I just wanted to quickly mention before I say goodbye for the day. My advice is, if you're going to get an electric car, get one sooner rather than later. I mean, I am quite convinced road pricing is coming. And when that happens, this sort of wonderful days of just going, oh, I'm going to do 25,000 miles a year for the fun of it, that's going to all be gone. And to some extent it already is. When I first started driving EVs, all the ecotricity points were free, almost all of the charging networks were free. It was, you know, no road tax, even if you buy a 60 grand Tesla. Things are changing slowly but surely, and that's going to carry on happening, because it's not possible that the government can have a situation where 50% of cars on the roads are EVs and they're all doing twice as many miles as they would if they were petrol or diesel cars. Apart from anything, I don't think the roads could handle that kind of volume of traffic, so they've got to find a way of disincentivizing it. Well, I hope you've enjoyed today's video. If you have, remember to like it and share it and subscribe if you haven't already, and follow me on Instagram if you don't already, and I'll see you tomorrow for the next installment of my daily vlog. Bye. Oh, I've got Dutch submarine footage, haven't I? Yes, I have.
Yes, but you haven't mentioned it. I was going to put up there. Would you be in favour to look at it with me? Because it's...
But I was asleep.
I know.
But when I sleep, I have my eyes closed. How could I look
I
at
know,
it?
but we could look at it now.
Yeah, but now I've had a reasonable amount of sleep and I don't feel like a liability on the road.